So there's a lot of cool things happening. One of the things that I woke up to, which was really exciting, was some more news on the Story of Season pioneers of Olive Town. So for those of you who don't know, I am a big Story of Seasons fan. And for those of you who really don't know, because this is confusing as fuck, it's also called Harvest Moon. So how this happened is that because there's Harvest Moon, there's Story of Seasons, and then there's Story of Seasons that used to be Harvest Moon. It's very, very confusing. So what it is that the company, the developers who made the quote-unquote the original Harvest Moon games, so we're talking back for the N64, the NES, that original run, all the way up until 2013, I believe. So that company, they made the games, and they are called Boku no Monogatari, I believe, which is basically which translates to ranch story. So the Bokujo series came out in Japan, and then when they came time to license and translate the game into English so it could reach the American audience, they hired Natsume. Oh, the company's called Marvelous. The developers, they're called Marvelous now. They weren't always called Marvelous, but they're called Marvelous now. And so Marvelous makes the games. And they hired Natsume to be the localization team and to do all the localizations. And let's be honest, Natsume didn't do an amazing job. But in the process of localizing the games, they called them Harvest Moon. So rather than sticking to the ranch story title, they decided to name it Harvest Moon. But the way that IPs work and the way that copyright works is that Marvelous owns the games, but Natsume owns the title Harvest Moon. So when Marvelous decided to switch from using Natsume in 2013 to using their own in-house localization team, they didn't have the rights to use the name Harvest Moon. So instead, what they did was they changed the American titles and the English titles to Story of Seasons. So it used to be Harvest Moon, it is now Story of Seasons. And however, Natsume went, well, we have this super famous story. Hit all the ability crystals. I can do that. Let's retry that one. I can do that. But yeah, so they well, we have this super famous title. Harvest Moon doesn't have a large fan base, but it has a very dedicated fan base. As a Harvest Moon fan, I am absolutely dedicated to the series 100%. So it's a famous name, and and this is again back in 2013. And it wasn't because it wasn't a big company, it didn't really, the news didn't really make the rounds. So what Natsume did was they're like, well, we'll make our own Harvest Moon game, and we just have to make it look close enough to the original Harvest Moons that people are going to fall for it. And they did. I fell for it. I actually got a fake Harvest Moon game. So that's what I've been calling them, the fake Harvest Moons, by accident, thinking that it was the real Harvest Moon. And it was really frustrating because I get into this game and I'm like, what happened here? The Harvest Moon games were so much fun and they were great and I loved them. Why is this a terrible game? I'm not having fun. What happened? And it wasn't until later when I learned about this change that I was just like, oh, that's what happened. These aren't actually Harvest Moon games. It's a fake Harvest Moon. And that's really frustrating because that's basically bait and switch at that point. And so all the Harvest Moons, they really tanked the Harvest Moon name by making these poor knockoffs. And the new Harvest Moon game, oh, I missed that. The new Harvest Moon game that's supposed to be coming up is like Harvest Moon World, and it looks awful. Kingdom Hearts, Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons. Do you just have things for a thing for things with complicated histories and stories? Yes, 100%. I am not going to deny this. I love the complex. Give it. But yeah, I love Harvest Moon, but the fake Harvest Moons are just terrible. So they're running the Harvest Moon game into the ground because it's not like they're trying to make a good name. They're just making cash grabs. Meanwhile, the Story Season games, are being, for those who don't know any better, are being called Harvest Moon knockoffs, when in reality they're the real thing. But I did learn about it, and what got me to figure out about this was the fact that Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town came out, and it was a remake of the original Friends of Mineral, or rather, not the original Friends of Mineral Town. It was a remake of the remake, which I don't mind, because Friends of Mineral Town got remade a couple of times, but it's the second remake that everybody seems to know, at least that I'm aware of. And so Friends of Mineral Town was one of the Harvest Moon games that I never got to play. It was never on a console that I could play, or so I always knew it by reputation. It's considered one of the best, but I never got to experience it for myself, which is very sad and very frustrating as a Harvest Moon fan. So I was absolutely there for it. I'm like, yes, give me. I even pre-ordered it, and I got the little Hanko cow, which is a little strawberry plushie cow who's so cute. Oh, it's adorable. And I have it, and Kyrie and I have had to fight for ownership of that little plushie. But I did win that fight, mostly by sticking it in a place she can't reach. But she found my little Hanko cow a couple of times, and was when I've had to pry it out of her mouth, because she's just like, it's a plush toy, it's mine, right? And I'm like, no. But it's cute, I love it, and I played all the way up until year 5 or year 6, and I got a baby, and I was married, and I became a very gay farmer, and I was very happy about that. So I married Cliff, because he's adorable, and I almost married the blacksmith guy, though. I was very close to marrying the blacksmith guy. Living the life, yeah, no, for sure. And I had like platinum chickens, and I finished up the Goddess book, where I did every recipe, and I had my baby, which is hilarious how you get a baby if you're gay in that game. Because basically, normally in the Harvest Moon games, you get a wife, and then, or a husband, and then a season later, the wife gets pregnant, and then a season after that, you get the baby is born. Well, in the gay marriage, the freaking harvest goddess just shows up with a baby one day, and goes, and no, she shows up with 2 babies. She goes, I have these 2 babies. I'm not gonna explain why. And I'm like, oh, that's sus. Where did you get the babies? Like, either they're her kids and she gave birth to twins, or she stole a bunch of babies, which is both options are a little bit terrifying. And she goes, but I can't raise both of them. Will you take one? And then you can pick whether or not you want the boy or the girl. But at the same time, so you're either raising a stolen child or a god. One of the two, either option is a little bit scary. Freeze. So I really would appreciate it, Harvest Goddess, if you explain where you got the children from, please. The explanation needed. But she just shows up one day with a kid and is just like, here, happy birthday. These are brand new babies. Raise one. and it's like, okay. But you get a kid. Cliff was very happy to have a child. And I got the boy. I picked a random, because that's the other option, is you can pick a kid, or you can just say random, surprise me, and she will. And I got a boy. And he's very cute. And I got him to crawling, but I never got him to the toddler phase where he was speaking. That's about where I stopped playing the game. But that's okay. I still had fun, and I actually got the Casanova achievement too, where you date everybody in the game. In the original version, if you tried to pull that stunt, all the bachelors and bachelorettes would get mad at you, but in this game they don't care. so in the new version they don't care. So I did get the Casanova achievement because I dated everybody, because I wanted to see all of their even though I kind of knew going in who I wanted to get and who I wanted to marry, I knew right from the bat that I wanted to marry Cliff. I almost changed my mind, but I mean, I was like, yeah, I'm going for Cliff. But orphan she picked up, that's another option, Lazy. 100%. Oh, hi! Also, welcome to the stream, Lazy! Cliff is the best. Are you blessed by the harvest goddess, or are you straight? That's amazing! Thank you so much, Swift. It's beautiful. They could also be orphans she picked up, that's true. It's one of 3 options, and 2 of those options are rather terrifying. I'm kind of inclined to headcanon that it is, in fact, her kid. That you're just raising one of 2 twin gods. Because the kids never grow up. You can be there for 50 years, but the kid will always be a toddler. And will always be like a small child and will never grow up. So I'm inclined to think that it is, in fact, a god that you're raising, which is hilarious. Who would that be then? The god of bugs? Because the kids both wear bug outfits. No, but I guess that's just because kids bug your parents so much. But I'm not sorry. But yeah, so that was a fun thing, and they announced that they're coming out with a new Story of Seasons. Because one of the things about the Story of Seasons games is that I do love them. I love my farming sims, but I very specifically love Story of Seasons. I haven't really been able to get into any of the other franchises. I tried Stardew Valley, and I was just like, no, can't do. Because it was too much. It was too complicated. There was too much going on. And also they had all these rarity bullshits. Like there were things that you had like a 0.5% chance of getting, but if you wanted to get the completionist stuff, you had to get them, and it was just like, no. So I couldn't get into Story of Seasons. Or, I mean, not Story of Seasons. I couldn't get into Stardew Valley, but with Story of Seasons, it's like, I really enjoyed Stardew Valley. I really or not Stardew Valley. Oh my god, I'm mixing them up. I really enjoyed Story of Seasons, and I like how simple it is. But they are coming out with a new Stories of Seasons game, and I'm torn. Because on the one hand, it looks cool, but there are things that are making me go, maybe not? But one of the things I'm really, really excited for the new Story of Seasons game that's coming out, The Pioneers of Olive Town, is that it's letting you make your farm however you want. And so it's definitely taking a page out of the new Animal Crossing game, where instead of giving you a farm, it just gives you a forest to clear and says, have fun, put everything everywhere. So I can make my own farm, and I'm totally going to make it look like the Triforce, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do. I went all completionist on Stardew Valley, yeah. Wait, does that mean there's a chance you're raising the Chosen One? Yeah, there's a chance you're raising the Chosen One. in Friends of Mineral Town, which is hilarious. But, so I'm really, really excited for that. And the other thing that I'm excited for is that you might be able to ride your animals. There's a picture on the Japanese website of the character riding a big dog, and I am here for it. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm still a little bit on the fence, but I'm a little less.
When I was little, Aqua came to my rescue in Radiant Garden. Then she reunited with Terra and Ventus, but once again, their paths and hearts quickly diverged. Terra was guided by a light to a young boy, Riku. He bequeathed Riku his Keyblade. Meanwhile, Ventus learned he would become the Keyblade, and Master Ericus tried to seal him away. Determined to save his friend, Terra unleashed the power of darkness as he faced his own master. The Keyblade would form when pure light and pure darkness clashed. Ventus set out toward the Keyblade graveyard to bring all of this to an end.
Oh, Birth by Sleep, just my heart, man. My heart. Yeah, what are your guys' like? Do you guys have any sim games that you really, really like? Because for me, again, I really, really like the farming sims, but I also, not gonna lie, I like the Sim Sims, which was freaking hilarious. All right, I'm gonna see. I don't think I can play that. No, if I remember correctly, I couldn't play that for you guys. Um, but yeah, no, I do like the Sim Sims, and I am a terrible god because one of the things that I liked doing was I played like Sim City, and I remember making a perfect city, a beautiful utopia. And then as soon as I considered it perfect, I used every cheat code in the game to have as many disasters befall my city all at once. I had aliens, I had like fires and earthquakes and Godzilla, and I burned the whole thing down. Oh, it's fun. Oh, it was fun. So I should not be put in charge of cosmically ruling anything. is, is the lesson here.